All right, good. We're on and we're live. Hopefully, you can hear me. If you can't, text me like you did before. But this is our midweek update. This midweek update is solely devoted to the purpose of being able to tell you guys about what our plans are for Sunday. We wanted to wait until today. We wanted to hear what the governor said Tuesday, and we wanted him to clarify it again for us today on Thursday. That being said, things in some areas are clear as mud, but that's okay. We've got a plan and we're looking forward to it. We feel good about it, and we're excited to announce we will have our sanctuary open on Sunday morning. So if you want to get together, you want to worship together in a corporate style there in our sanctuary, man, we encourage you to come and be a part. Last week we had a great crowd. We really were encouraged by the number of people that chose to come out for Memorial Day weekend. And we still had plenty of room. And so the way we've got things laid out, we had plenty of room. And so we're looking forward to bringing in a few more people this week. And we hope all of you will come. You say, well, Pastor, what happens if I get there at 11 o'clock for the service and man, all the seats are full? We ask for a little bit of patience. If you get there at 11 o'clock, all the seats are full in the sanctuary. We will have an overflow where you can watch live on TV there on YouTube in our fellowship hall. And you say, well, Pastor, why are you doing that? Because we don't want to have a service at 9 o'clock and have no one come. We don't want to have a service at 11 o'clock that gets overrun. And one thing we've found is church folks don't always like to sign up to agree to come to one service or another. We didn't want to make any more loopholes or difficult times or hardships for you guys. We just want you to come to church. So if you'll have a little bit of patience with us, we'll make sure that if one person ends up in the overflow this week, I guarantee you next week there'll be two services and you guys will have the opportunity to choose which one you want to go to. So work with us. This week we're only having one service though. It's going to be at 11 o'clock and it's going to be awesome. We are looking forward to getting together and sharing in God's word and worshiping together there in song. It's going to be great. I hope you guys will be there. Now, one of the things that's on everybody's mind are masks. And you say, well, Pastor, what do we do about masks this week? Do we have to wear a mask? Our governor said we have to wear a mask. If we're inside together, we have to wear a mask. You say, well, Pastor, are there any exceptions to that? Yes. If you have a medical issue that prevents you from wearing a mask, then you don't have to wear a mask. You say, well, Pastor, if I have a medical issue, are you going to harass me at the door and have to know what my medical issue is? No. Are you going to ask me about it? No. I'm going to assume that as Christians, if we're able to follow the governor's order, that we follow it. And I'm going to assume that if you're not wearing a mask, then guess what? You are unable to wear a mask. And I'm going to let that go. We're going to move on. We're going to worship together. I encourage all of you to follow the governor's order as best you can. You say, well, Pastor, what are you going to do on Sunday morning? Are you going to cover your face? Yep, I am. You say, Pastor, do you like it? Nope. Do you think it's necessarily a good or bad thing? It doesn't matter. Not about me. I'm supposed to be subject to the governing authorities. And so I'm going to put my thoughts aside. I don't like it. I'm going to tell you guys that. I told you guys that last night. I don't like it at all. But I'm going to do it. Why? Because I should be subject to the governing authorities, except when the governing authorities ask me to do something that God's word says I shouldn't do. Best I can tell in God's word, unless you've got something that you want to share with me, I encourage you to do so. If you find something like this, share it with me. I'd love to hear it. But unless there's something in God's word that says you can't cover your face while you worship, then we're going to do that as best we can. So I want to encourage you. Remember, if you have a medical condition and you can't wear a mask, it's okay. We're not going to harass you. We're not going to bother you. We're not going to give you a hard time or any of those things, man. We're encouraging you to do what the governor asks you to do if you're able. If you're not doing that, we're going to assume that you're unable. Now, as far as myself, I'm going to be wearing a face covering. Will there be some people on our staff that can't wear a face covering? Yes, there are people on our staff that may have a medical issue that can't do that. And so don't look around and say, these folks are defying the government. We're not. We're following the guidelines, right? What are the guidelines? Guideline number 1, wear a mask. Number 2, if you have a medical emergency or a medical issue that prevents you from wearing a mask, you don't have to wear a mask. We're going to follow both of those to the T. Okay? So If you have any questions about what Sunday's going to look like, if you're concerned about it or you're thinking, man, what do I need? I have a question Pastor John hasn't answered. All right, let me run through one more time. Number one, one service, 11 a.m. in the sanctuary. Should be plenty of seating. If there's not plenty of seating, we have overflow available. We want you to be patient with us. 3 in that area. We also want you to remember, not only do we have overflow, if you want to do drive-in church, we have our FM tuner up. You can pull into the parking lot. If you're not comfortable coming inside yet, but you want to be on the premises worshiping together, you can pull in. Our FM tuner is functioning 89.1. You can listen to it right there in your car and participate there with us on the church grounds. You have that option as well. But remember, mask. Are we going to wear a mask? If we're able, we're going to wear a mask, right? What happens if I don't wear a mask? We're going to trust that you are an honest and upstanding citizen and that you're doing things according to what the governor had to say. And so we are going to trust that you have a medical issue. We're not going to harass you and bother you about that. We're going to trust that. We're also going to encourage that members not confront one another or discuss the situation with one another. Let's do what we are supposed to do and trust that others are going to do the same. So guys, I'm looking forward to worshiping together. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be, in my mind, a historic opportunity for us to overcome something that could be extremely divisive, something that could be just planted there to bring division to God's people. Let's let it unify us in our desire and our commitment to get together and worship, even though we have to do it in a way that may not be our favorite. Do we love God enough to obey the government and cover our face even when we don't agree? Well, I've had to answer that for myself this week, and the answer is I love God more. I love God more, and I know you do too. So I look forward to seeing you guys 11 o'clock Sunday morning in the sanctuary. We're going to worship together. Until